Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's still very early for me, at least, so we are two being guilty in preparing this presentation, myself and Kristoffer. My name is Marek Jasinski. I'm professor in archaeology, working with archaeology of contemporary past with focus on wars, conflicts, crimes, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and so on, rather heavy subjects. Kristoffer, and I'm also a senior researcher at the Falstad Center for Human Rights. Kristoffer is a researcher at the same center. Okay, the first picture. This is the monument at the entrance of Falstad Forest, showing in a symbolic way what was going on there. But let us start with the Falstad camp itself. No, we are starting with the problem of hidden graves, and especially hidden graves in forest areas. We had this aspect in Falstad, war crimes, frequent executions often in forest areas. What it is about, hidden graves as a way of confiscating dead bodies by the perpetrators. Why they wanted to confiscate dead bodies of people being executed or killed in another way. First of all, it was hiding of evidence of war crimes, but in addition, it was the extra punishment for relatives, for families, because they didn't get the body of the killed victim. It means no closure for families, friends, and in fact, in the philosophical way, no closure for the victims. The evaporation of a human being, just disappearing. And searching for such graves is very complicated and very difficult in the dense forest areas, even using the newest technologies like LiDAR, GPRs, magnetometers, and so on. And actually, this is a question of what I call post-mortem human dignity. To be found, identified, get a proper burial, and in this way to return to the realm of social memory. Missing graves in the Falstad Forest. According to Nazi testimonies or interrogations right after the liberation, we should be talking or thinking about in between 220 and 300 executed prisoners in the Falstad Forest, very close to the Falstad SS punishment camp, like 800 meters, 1 kilometer from the camp. So far, there are 88 bodies found in hidden graves in the Falstad Forest. There is also one aspect with the issue of the so-called corpse boat. During the 4th and 5th of May, they came German soldiers from Trondheim to the Falstad Forest, and they started to exhumate the bodies. It was the action on order of Heinrich Himmler. It was for all over the Europe, trying to hide the traces of war crimes. They were working only 2 days. We know that the ambition was to exhumate all the graves, but they didn't manage. The liberation came too fast. Again, in the interrogations, they admitted that they managed only maybe like 25, 30 graves. They put the corpses on an old fishing boat, put a lot of ballast in it, and sunk the boat in the fjord somewhere. We haven't found this boat yet. So the question is, main question, are there still unknown graves in the Falstad Forest? Here is the Falstad itself, as I said, 800 meters from the forest. 4 layers of memories, at least 4 layers of memories. This is the first Falstad building, main building built in 1921 as a kind of youngsters' prison for especially naughty boys, as we call it. Sorry. In 1941, the Germans took over the main building and put some extra structures like prisoners' barracks, like watchtowers, double fence with barbed wire. So they created a typical landscape of terror, as we call it. On the night of liberation, on the 8th of May 45, this SS camp, it was SS punishment camp, was taken over by the new Norwegian authorities and immediately turned into new camp. New old camp was turned into camp for Norwegian Nazis and collaborators. And they were there until 1949. After that, when the camp for collaborators got close, this building was rebuilt, get full 2nd floor, and became a school for children with special needs. It was functioning also as a museum for a few years, and in 2006, the Falstad Center for Human Rights was established in this main building. 4 categories of prisoners in 1941-49. This is the group of Norwegian political prisoners taken by the SS to Falstad. They were majority of the prisoners at Falstad. Here we have group of foreign prisoners of war, also taken to Falstad and as it was the punishment camp run by SS, they came to Falstad or were taken to Falstad to be punished. Here is the right after liberation. German SS soldiers or Ordnungspolizei soldiers, they always had double membership, both in Ordnungspolizei, but also in SS. And here is the first group of Norwegian Nazis and collaborators coming to the camp. And the graves in the Falstad Forest. The graves were always hidden, so there were no traces on the surface. Luckily, oh, Jesus. Luckily, we have this Serbian prisoner that survived Falstad. Hvordan er det med tida?
How much time do we got?
So you've got 7 or 8 minutes. 7 to 8 minutes. So is it time to move Skeeter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Ljuban from Serbia. He was used by Germans to be sent to the forest on the day before or night before executions and was digging graves. And luckily he survived and was able to show the graves that he could remember where they were. So already in 1945 there were first exhumations using German SS soldiers and Norwegian Nazis to do the job. Here you have some photos of these first exhumations. Exhumations were also continued in 1947 and 1953. Altogether, 88 bodies were found, maybe mainly Norwegian prisoners. Also, Harvey, this problem, according to the interrogations of German SS soldiers and the Gestapo in Trondheim, there should be in between 220 and 300 executed prisoners in the forest. 88 bodies found so far in the hidden graves in the Falstad Forest. So we have a kind of difference here. We have the issue of corpse boat, but even if we add what Germans were saying themselves, 25 or 30 to 88, we are still far away from 220 to 300. But questions marks, those data are not carved in stones. We still are very uncertain what were the realities. So the main questions arrive. Are there still unknown graves in Falstad Forest, and how to find them? Okay. Now it's Kristoffer's part.
Yes, thanks. Do I have 5 minutes? Yes, thanks. I'll rush through then. So, what do we do then? We'll give you a quick summary of our methodology. Thank you. We're using a series of different methods: LiDAR, GPR, magnetometry, metal detecting, photogrammetry, and of course historical sources, which there are quite a lot. So our idea is to sort of create layer upon layer of different source material or data and try to visualize and gather this digitally We haven't used all of them yet, but I'll give you a little peek of what we have done. Of course, we started with digital surveying. My esteemed colleague here from the NTNU University Museum came to our aid. And of course, we had a little bit of problem because this is a wooded area. We can't always get good signal from the satellites, but we did it with some ancient methods as well, but also using drones in the woods flying between the trees. It was quite neat making a photogrammetry that we could actually make a georeference model of. Also a photogrammetry of the entire part of the wood that we think the hidden graves are in. Also very neat little feature for our visitors, pupils coming to Falstad, because 3D models are always very good as a tool to show them. And of course, our alibi to even be here today to present, we were using LiDAR. So another one of my honorable colleagues from the NTNU University Museum was called upon to aid us. And last winter, it was very cold, so we had a bit of issue with the drone. We had to use several days because the battery time, of course, is very low during winter time. But we did the entire area, and we got quite good data, I would say. I'm not an expert, but from my point of view, we were quite content. Very detailed topographical model. Of course, as you all know, woodland, you get some fuzzy areas, you have to extrapolate, but nonetheless, this is quite, we're quite happy with what we got. So our aim is, we haven't got there yet, is to try to find hidden graves in this material somehow. But how do we find it, right? We don't even know how they look like, what to look for. So we have to put different layers of information as well, historical sources. We do have witness accounts. We have some historical maps. This is from 1948. Not that precise, but it helps us in identifying areas of interest. And metal detecting. We did this systematic search of a part of the wood. We'll do more, hopefully. I called upon my colleagues from different archaeological businesses around, and we registered every signal and georeferenced it. Meaning we sort of started to put all this together. Just a preliminary picture. We can see the yellow dots, there are metal signals. Because we know that the prisoners were killed with guns, right? With pistols, submachine guns, rifles. Meaning there should be shell casing, bullets in the forest. So our ambition is really to build a case to eventually be able to dig. This is a protected forest. I mean, we are not allowed to dig, so all our methods has to be non-intrusive. But we hope that if we build a case good enough, we will be able to be able to dig at some point. Of course, we're still waiting for trying a GPR, a georadar, and magnetometry, and of course, still opening the cold case, see what's in those files and archives. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Well done. Thank you, that was really great. Thanks, Kristoffer, and also to Marek. Do we have any questions from the floor, please? Cassia at the back. Hang on, wait for the microphone.
Short question about the graves themselves. Are they always individual graves or also mass graves?
Both. Individual, but also some mass graves.
How many bodies in the mass grave?
Pardon?
How many bodies were found in the mass graves?
The biggest, I think, was up to 15, the Maya Vatne grave. Yeah. 15, but there are also other graves like 8 persons and so. But we have also singular graves.
Thank you. Any more questions from the floor? Chris?
Thank you for that. It was a really interesting presentation. Can you tell me, are there any surface finds at all within the forest? Or has the ground all grown over since these occurrences?
I mean, the terrain is different. The trees have grown, the wetlands are drained, so it's actually different today than it was. And also, it's an active memorial site, so we have thousands of visitors every year. Of course, and they throw trash around, and we find coins and everything. But earlier, we know that there are some finds of shell casing. So we know there's some things, but we can't really dig for it. So we have to do all these non-intrusive methods. Yeah.
And Sarah?
Thank you. But the shell casing probably means the place of execution and the place of a grave, right? So do you know about, was there executions at the same place where they were burying them immediately? And if you know of some of the graves and you see how you see the pattern on the LiDAR data, so did you see more of the ones that you didn't know about?
Yeah, the first thing, we have written testimonies from how the executions were carried out. We know that in some cases they were standing on the edge of the grave and they were shot in quite close distance, meaning there should be shell casing and perhaps even lead bullets around. And we know that earlier some has been found. Should be indicative of a grave if you find lots of beeps around with the metal detecting. So that's one. And the other question was?
Other one was if you have seen what the known grave looks like on your LiDAR data, do you see more of those, of the graves that you didn't know about?
Yeah, that's the big question and a big problem. We do find the dug up graves as more rectangular shapes in the LiDAR data. We don't really see them in the woods, but we see them on the data. But we don't know yet what an hidden grave looks like. That's our problem. So if anybody knows what a hidden grave, we can make. I was inspired yesterday from making these synthetic structures. We can make synthetic graves, but we don't know what a grave looks like. So we're still, yeah. Yes, just one. So if everybody knows what a hidden grave looks like that nobody knows of, please let me know.
It's always difficult to find these graves generally in forest areas. I'm in contact with the German police. They have the same problem in Germany. We have had contact even with FBI. They also have such a problems with modern murders and hidden graves. But as you are super duper specialists, so there is a small appeal from us if you have any ideas how we should proceed, or if you have any ideas of other technologies that should be employed, please contact us.
Super. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Do you want